Hello, and welcome to Why Did My Builder Do That? The weekly podcast that will answer your questions about home design, home building, and much more. Of course, we will be asking, why did my builder do that? But sometimes we will ask, why didn't my builder do that? Or, will my builder do that? Or even, does my builder know about this? Each week, we will tackle new questions and hopefully provide insight into designing, choosing a builder, building, financing, and even maintaining or remodeling a home. From time to time, we will be looking at why or how something went wrong, but we will be asking about new building products and new building techniques. Along the way, we will also be talking about building standards and warranties. We invite you to email us questions, and we will make every effort to include them in future podcasts, or at the least, we will send back information or a comment on your questions. Email us at WDMBDT@gmail.com. Why would my builder do that? Join us now for Why Did My Builder Do That?
Hello and welcome to Why Did My Builder Do That? Your hosts are Gary Dunn and Joe Bronson. We're going to walk through some information today as to what builders are doing out there in the market and what builders are not doing in the market, for that matter. Right, Gary?
We're going to talk about warranty, Joe. That's a big subject. We're going to get into it. So my first question is, does my builder provide a warranty? And if so, how long of a period is that warranty?
Well, in most cases, builders, at least in our area here in Central Ohio, they clearly will provide a warranty. Some warranties are warranties that are outside companies that will cover the items if there are concerns or issues. Some will be self-warranted by the builder themselves. And then some have companies that it'll be somewhat of a hybrid where the builder may cover things for a year. And then after that time period, could be as many as 10 or 20 years. At that point, it's still really the responsibility of the builder. But in some cases, someone might retire or for whatever reason, they're out of business. Then these companies will come in and take care of you when it comes to anything that might need to be covered under warranty that it was already agreed to up front in a written warranty.
Is that like an insurance policy?
In a sense, it is. And it's just to be certain that if there is some kind of a catastrophe, if you will, and the builder is no longer in business, the homeowner is still taken care of at that point. Very good question. Thank you, Gary.
So what all will the typical warranty include, Joe?
Well, there are several things, stages, phases, and components. As you can see here, there typically will be warranties tied around workmanship. There'll be warranties that'll be around systems, and then warranties that'll be structural. And those items, workmanship-wise, has to do with quality and performance of something that was taken care of. And if it's not been taken care of properly or installed properly, this is going to clearly qualify as a workmanship issue. Okay. When it comes to systems, those types of things would be such as HVAC, your heating and cooling, in other words, could be plumbing items, electrical items. Those would qualify as items that would be systems. And then finally, there would be structural type things that would be included in most warranties. And the best way to describe structural is something that holds something else up. That is just a clear cut way of considering what structural is.
All right. Well, I'm going to take a little deeper dive here and just ask you workmanship. Give me an example here of what might be a workmanship item that would come up.
Well, workmanship very well could be in your kitchen. It could involve your cabinetry. God forbid you've got the whole family coming over for Easter or Christmas or whatever the case may be, and you go to open up a cabinet door, and by golly, the darn thing falls off. That's probably going to qualify as a workmanship issue, as long as we do, or the builder does have verification that maybe somebody was swinging on it like a trapeze to verify that that's not the case. But that clearly would be a workmanship item. There also could be
Okay.
possibly a window installation. The window doesn't work properly. It doesn't go up or down or slide left or right, whatever the case may be. It very well could be something installation. And that very well could be under warranty. So those are the kind of
Okay.
things that have to do with workmanship, mainly based around quality type items that you're going to be looking into.
What about systems? You mentioned systems. What are my systems?
Systems are going to be anything such as heating and cooling, electrical. Could be also plumbing that you're going to have. Those typically are going to be covered under the 1 year warranty, or sometimes there's a program out there that offers a little bit longer for that initial time period. It might be 2 years that would be there. But that also would be things such as if you're out on acreage, it could very well be something that has to do with your well, for that matter, to
Okay.
make certain that things are working properly, that you've got good water flow and so on. Same thing with septic. If you're out on acreage, that's going to qualify as a system. But I think probably one of the bigger issues is going to be the furnace, your air handler, which is in your basement, your water heater. Those types of things would all qualify as systems.
Okay. And you mentioned structure. I guess we don't want our house to fall down. So give me an example of how I would know I might be having a structural problem.
Well, in some cases, I think one thing to look into is in your basement. If you start having stair stepping of mortar joints, if your basement is block, or if it's poured, it will be cracked. Some of these types of cracks are to be expected and not going to be of danger. When it starts to be of danger is when you get wide gaps in between mortar joints in the block wall. That sometimes can mean that a footer has dropped. And that clearly is going to be a structural issue that is going to need to be looked into. If your builder selects to go with poured wall systems and it can crack not on a joint, typically those poured walls are 2 feet wide, sometimes 3 feet wide, and those types of things may get a hairline crack in them, which is somewhat normal. But if it cracks right down the middle of that panel where the poured wall was, we may have something that needs to be looked into. It's not the fact that the house is going to fall down or what have you, but there are ways to repair it and fix it. But it's a matter of, will it be under warranty? Those clearly will be items that would be under structural. Any type of beams or support system that you have, typically, again, going to be in your basement. Some builders will use a wood beam, and that would be multiple 2x12s, typically nailed together. If that would fail, that clearly would be under a structural warranty. And many builders also use steel beams. So anything that would be going wrong with those types of items, as I said earlier, anything that holds something else up will typically be structural. It doesn't mean the house is going to fall down. It just means that it needs to be addressed. And then there are ways to consider repairing.
Okay. Are there any other warranties that I need to be aware of in my home?
Well, there are. And as you can see here, you can look at the items that are air conditioners, furnaces, many things will have the manufacturer warranty that most builders will extend those warranties onto their homeowners when they build. And that would be whether it be a production builder or whether it be a custom builder, that those warranties will be extended onto the homeowner. And then they're typically a limited warranty, which means that the labor may not be included, or it might mean that it's a warranty that for a certain time period, things are covered for a length of time. And then as time goes on, that warranty coverage then starts to diminish. Some will be 5 years, some will be 10 years. It just all depends as to what the item is. And what that manufacturer chooses to supply. But those are very important items to go along and to collaborate and to partner up with your builder's warranty as well.
So I recall years ago walking into a house and opening a drawer, and there was about 50 plastic bags with paper of various sizes, shapes, and colors in that drawer. Were those my warranties? Probably.
Oftentimes it is. Some of the builders have become a little more, how should I say, upscale, and sometimes they'll put them in a binder for you. But actually, what that is, Gary, is that's just getting you started for your junk drawer in your kitchen that everyone always seems to have. So you might want to pull those warranties out of there so you can refer to them before you start putting in all the paper clips that go in your junk drawer.
I don't know about you, but I don't need any help with more junk. So yeah, we'll put those in the right spot.
Yeah, agreed. Good idea.
So I think it's a problem, and my neighbor thinks it's a problem. What if my builder and I don't agree? What can we do about that?
Well, that can be a problem, specifically if you don't have anything in writing, or if it's "don't worry about it, I'll take care of it" when you ask your builder those types of questions. We wouldn't recommend that. That what you might want to be able to do is, as you can see here on the screen, these are BIA documents, the professional standards. Basically, that's the how-tos and what to expect when it comes to a warranty, and then an actual written warranty when it comes to having your warranty stated. The BIA is the Building Industry Association, and many locations throughout the country have a Building Industry Association. Most of the builders here in Central Ohio in our area are typically members of the BIA, so they use a lot of the forms, procedures, and processes to discuss and communicate what their warranty is. And typically it's two parts. It is the professional standards, and that actually comes from the National Association of Home Builders. So that's a nationwide organization that you're going to find those standards are going to be the same no matter where you're going to be building. The BIA specifically has a warranty process, and they spell things out that most builders use. And then when it comes to the point where you're just not able to agree on whether or not it should be taken care of, or should it be just let go, or whatever the case may be, there's arbitration. And you're going to find in most cases in your agreement, there's probably a statement about arbitration, and you'll agree to that. It'll be in your building contract, and also a separate document if they use the BIA arbitration document. And that is, you'll literally sit in front of an arbiter, and both will talk about what is going on, and then a decision will be made. And what you're agreeing to in an arbitration agreement, both you and your builder, is you are agreeing to be bound by that decision. So whatever comes up, as in yes, it's covered, or no, it's not covered, you'll agree to that. Or in some cases, you're going to agree to disagree. But that's the process that is used here in Central Ohio for those builders using the BIA documents.
Okay, thanks. Should I put the things that are bothering me in writing, or should I just send an email or a text?
Oh, my goodness, put them in writing. Put them in writing, put it in an email. I wouldn't recommend a text, but you certainly want to make certain that it's written down. Some of the builders here in town will have an actual warranty document. If you need to make a claim or a request for warranty to be taken care of. If they do, great, use their forms. They recognize them, they then are aware of them, and they'll scream out that something needs to be taken care of, and it's in writing. So that's very important that be the case. There are some builders that don't use that process, and they may request that you just send an email. What I would recommend is creating a file on your laptop or your PC, whatever the case may be, and keeping those documents electronically. So now you do have a record of it, to make certain that it is in writing. It sounds like we're trying to pin the builder, but we're not. We're simply making it easier on you and easier on the builder to have good, solid communication, because the end result is if something has gone wrong with the house, they want to take care of it for you. They want you to be satisfied. They want you to be able to live in the home the way that you had planned on it. And those types of things are important. They're important to the builder because they're important to you. So the more items you can put in writing, the better off you're going to be.
Okay. I've heard the term 11-month inspection. What does that mean typically?
In most cases, builders will schedule a time, and normally that scheduling will come from the homeowner themselves, and they'll say, "Hey, we're about to hit our 1 year time period," which is what some people use the term bumper to bumper warranty when it comes to your house, that everything is pretty much covered. And at the end of that 12-month time period, that warranty will expire. So what they'll end up doing is they'll schedule a time they'll hit you around 11 months, and they'll schedule a time to come into your home and do 11-month walkthrough with you and talk about those items that may need to be repaired. And that's an opportunity for you to point things out, not only to have it in writing, but excuse me, to also have it to the point that you can do a tour, if you will, of your home of potential warrantable items that need to be taken care of. So that's a really, really good question. And I think that some builders will hit their homeowners at that 11 months, and some of the builders will require the homeowner to request that 11-month walkthrough. And that's a conversation that you'll have with your builder as to which way that's going to be. But again, it's a great opportunity to be able to point out things that potentially could be concerns, and give them the opportunity to explain, either just to simply say it's okay, that's normal, or it is something, yes, we're going to need to be taken care of.
It sounds like that besides being all excited about signing a contract to build a new house, I need to make sure I kind of understand all of these details up front to protect both me and my relationship with the builder later on, right?
Absolutely. Those are things to be covered up front. You don't want to have those discussions after you're in the house, because it's almost to the point now, it might be a little too late. So you'd rather discuss any kind of things that have to do with warranty right up front before you've even signed the agreement, to make certain that your expectations will be met and what the builder plans on doing will meet those expectations. If they don't, well, that might be a discussion with all of the decision makers as to whether or not you want to move forward.
Good advice. Is there ever a time that I really should hire an outside inspector to help me with this whole process?
Well, you certainly can. That will be an expense of the homeowner. The builder would not pay for that. What the builder is going to be highly concerned about are building codes, that they're going to be meeting everything by code. That's not to say that that's the way that they build from the standpoint of, some people think if it's by code, it's a minimum, and that really isn't the case. Those codes are there to protect the homeowner, and also to protect the builder, to make certain that structural items and so on are done properly. Well, in some cases, if for whatever reason, maybe that relationship is starting to fray a tad bit with your builder, sometimes it might be a good idea to go ahead and have a third-party inspector. Now, your builder has to agree. If there are items that are listed on an inspection report, your builder is going to have to agree to either correct or adjust. They don't have to. If a building inspector from a municipality comes out and says something needs to be taken care of, that's a different story altogether. And those items are going to need to be taken care of by the inspector's request. An outside third-party inspector, not necessarily so much. But what it might do for you is to give you a peace of mind, to make certain that what you're being told, what you're seeing, is making you feel right when someone else comes in that has no interest whatsoever, if you will, in the process, and agrees or confirms items that your builder is sharing with you.
Okay. Are warranties transferable? I know that would be a big question for me.
Yeah, it is, and it's a great question, and so often people don't ask that until it's time when they're going to sell their house, and they find out that maybe the warranty isn't transferable. Not all warranties are. In most cases, if it is a builder that is again self-warranting or self-insuring their warranty, oftentimes it will not be transferable. But that's a question you're going to need to ask the builder when you have third party or outside warranty companies. Oftentimes they will transfer for a fee. So it's a matter of getting that transfer form. Oftentimes it could be 250, it can be 500. There's all types of numbers that are out there when it comes to a transferable warranty. But those are the types of things that you'll be able to ask your builder right up front, and you should, to make certain that you don't have an oops when you go to sell your house down the road.
Okay. I think our last question here is, I've sent my list in. What's the reasonable amount of time I could expect to get these items fixed?
Well, that's going to vary. And I know I've answered a lot of things with that is, it all depends or it's going to vary. But everything in building does. And in this case, it has to do with, is it an urgent crisis structural item for that matter? And it's a matter of safety, then you should expect that to be taken care of within, if not that day, the very next day, that something needs to be taken care of. And that's when, in most cases, a builder is going to drop what they're doing and you're going to become the top of the priority list. And that's when it becomes a safety issue, then they're going to be there. And that should be that day or the very next day. When it starts to be items that, as I had mentioned before about, your cabinet door comes off, albeit unsightly, that's not going to hinder the way in which you live. It's just not very pretty. And now it's a matter of they may have to call their cabinet maker or possibly the cabinet installer. And then it's a matter of what is their schedule. And in those cases, they may not have as much pull on their schedule as that cabinet maker. And he may say, I can't get there because of other commitments that he has. They may not be able to get there for a week, maybe two. So you might be living with that issue. Other things that need to be handled right away would be plumbing items, because now we can have damage in the house because of water. So repairs can be anywhere from that same day or the next day to as much as 2-3 weeks to be able to to take care of items that might be warranty concerns. So talk with your builder, find out what those items are. Oftentimes, if you do use a written warranty, which again, we recommend, that those types of things oftentimes will be spelled out and called out in your written warranty.
Can I expect that that warranty work can be done after 5 or on the weekends when I'm home? How do we coordinate things like that when I and my wife both work out of the home?
Well, and again, I'll use, most builders. The answer to that would be no. Typically, they want to work during their day, their working hours, which could be anywhere from 7 a.m. as much as up to 5 o'clock p.m. Typically, they're not available on weekends. So, unfortunately, it will require you to take either some time off, or if you work from home, they're able to come into the house and do work at that point.
Okay. So we're going to have to make arrangements.
You will have to make arrangements.
Well, Joe, I think I've exhausted my questions. I appreciate the answers today, and I know people listening do. So I'm gonna go to the last slide here and let you bring us home.
Okay, well, thanks, Gary. And the questions were great. I greatly appreciate it. And we do this on a regular basis. We'd ask that you take a look at our website and see what's out there next on other episodes. And also, if you think of questions yourselves, Some of these questions that we got today were from some folks that were online with us and sent some questions in, and we'd ask that you do the same, and we might build a podcast around some of your questions. But you can see the email that you can send your questions to, WDMBDT@gmail.com. And that stands for Why Did My Builder Do That? So you can send your questions in, we'll get them, review them, and maybe design a podcast around you. And then anytime you've got issues or concerns or you need things taken care of, and you've got those questions, just simply send them to us and be looking for our next episode coming out soon.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody.